Doesn't it feel like forever since we saw the Dutton family in action? The wait is finally coming to an end. After what feels like an eternity since Yellowstone Season 5 Part 1 came out on January 1st, 2023, the Duttons are primed to return to our screens in November with Part 2. And we promise you, it's gonna be worth the wait. The big sneak peek. To sweeten the deal even more, the cast and crew released a behind-the-scenes featurette just to give us a taste of what's to come. You can tell the whole team is getting excited because they've been saying how long they've been on break between the parts, and they're beyond ready to get back to work and make these episodes a reality. It got Luke Grimes, who plays Casey Dutton, really emotional. It even brought him to tears, he said. According to Luke, this next chapter is really going to throw you in the feels, and fans are going to love it. We're going to have some serious drama, action, and probably a ton of tears. However, the real big elephant in the room is Kevin Costner's departure. Yep, it's official. Coming ahead of Season 5 Part 2, Kevin Costner, the legend who plays John Dutton, will not be returning. When this news fell back in June after a long and messy fight with Paramount and the show's creator, Taylor Sheridan, it hit hard. What's going to happen now then? One of the key elements of the series has been Costner's John Dutton, the guy around whom almost everybody's story revolves. It's no small feat trying to carry on the story without him. It's going to be a huge shift, and fans have already speculated how the show might manage to do it. The cast has been pretty tight-lipped about how things will go down, which has only fueled the hype. Christina Voros, one of the directors, shared that it's been a mix of emotions, like a big family reunion, but with the challenge of continuing the story in a whole new way. And get this, the secrecy has been next level. The actors have only been given redacted scripts, meaning they only see their own lines, with everything else blacked out. So even they don't know the full picture. Denham Richards, who plays Colby, said the result is raw, real reactions from the cast. So whatever happens, it's going to feel incredibly authentic. What does the cast look like? Besides Luke Grimes, the usual suspects are all back. Kelly Riley as the fierce Beth Dutton, Cole Hauser as the tough-as-nails Rip Wheeler, Wes Bentley as the complicated Jamie Dutton, Kelsey Asby as Monica, and Gil Birmingham as Chief Thomas Rainwater. Even though Kevin Costner is out, there's no shortage of powerhouse performances coming our way. Kelly Riley in particular seems super pumped about the new episodes. She's been sharing updates on Instagram, posting little sneak peeks from the iconic Yellowstone ranch. While she hasn't spilt any major spoilers, you can just feel the excitement in her posts. She's clearly grateful for the experience and can't wait for fans to see what's been in the works. Throwback to the teaser. On August 25th, Paramount Network gave us a first look at Season 5 Part 2, and everybody knew it would get intense. It was clear that on November 10th, 2024, things were about to explode on Dutton Ranch. In this new teaser, it seemed like Rip was gearing up for some serious action. He was loading his rifle and storming into the main house like he just found out something huge. If you remember the drama from before, it's hard not to wonder if this is tied to Jamie and the terrible truth about Beth's infertility. The tagline, "Generations of blood have led to this," says it all. We're talking 5.5 seasons of tension, betrayal, and all kinds of family drama, especially between Jamie, the Dutton family's black sheep, and his fiery sister Beth. Oh, and their father John, who has constantly undermined Jamie. But let's be honest, Jamie does a pretty good job of sabotaging himself most of the time too. Remember how Season 5 Part 1 ended? Beth and John had decided it was high time for Jamie to take that one-way trip to the train station. Meanwhile, Jamie and his partner Sarah were busy plotting an accident for their enemies, one that would leave to no chance for recovery. With Kevin Costner stepping away from the series, we can only speculate about John's fate when Part 2 kicks off. Could John already be gone by the time the new episodes air, and if so, who else might be meeting their end in this final stretch? What can we expect from Season 5 Part 2? So, what can we expect when Yellowstone finally returns? Well, one thing's for sure. John Dutton's absence is going to shake things up in a massive way. At the end of Part 1, we were left with the ultimate setup for a showdown between Beth and Jamie. The tension between those two has been simmering for years, and it's about to boil over in the biggest way possible. If John were still around, he might have been able to step in and stop the carnage. But now, with him gone, there's nothing holding Beth and Jamie back. It's pretty much open season. Casey's likely not going to be able to do much to stop them either. It's every Dutton for themselves at this point. But before all that goes down, we need to know what happened to John. As the patriarch of the family, he's been fiercely protective of the ranch, refusing to sell even when the financial pressure was intense. He always said it was because of a promise he made to his father. So, what's the deal? How is the show going to explain his absence? The most plausible theory is that he dies, but that's still speculation at this point. Either way, John's fate is something the show has to address right away. Production for these final episodes seems to be moving along at full speed though. With the release date fast approaching, we could be getting an official first look at the new season soon. But will it include any footage of Costner's John? That's still up in the air. One thing's for sure though, if Kelly Riley is this excited, fans should be too. Now let's dive into what's going on with Beth. Beth has been through the ringer over the past 5 seasons. She's faced emotional and physical trauma, and yet she's remained fiercely loyal to her family, especially to her father. In a lot of ways, she's more like John than her brothers are. And with John potentially out of the picture, she's stepping into the biggest fight of her life. Her conflict with Jamie has been building for so long, and with the stakes higher than ever, it's hard to see any kind of peaceful resolution between them. If John does die, it's going to push Beth to the edge. Jamie will be a rival, perhaps even the man who killed their father, and she'll be looking at him. If that happens, all bets are off. But Beth is also making her own family with Rip and their adoptive son Carter. Now she's got more to protect, and she's only more dangerous. Jamie is in her crosshairs, and the final episodes will be explosive. Anyone who threatens her family is going to feel her wrath. But what of Yellowstone's future when the flagship show comes to an end? Will the show wrap things up in a way that its diehard fans would like, or leave everyone on the edge of their seats wanting more? No one knows, but a new spin-off has already gotten buzz. A spin-off series has been talked about called The Madison. We've got Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Fox from Lost, and Suits star Patrick J. Adams in the cast. So it looks stellar. Despite this, we still have no word yet if some of our Yellowstone favorites like Kelly Riley, Luke Grimes, or Cole Hauser might show up in this new series. A recap of Season 5 Part 1. Since it's been a while since we last visited the Duttons, let's refresh our memories on some of the key moments from those first 8 episodes. One of the most significant developments in Part 1 was John Dutton becoming the governor of Montana. But guess what? He hated it. Throughout the entire series, John has been fighting the government interference, and now that he's in charge, he finds himself battling against the same political system he despises. He ran for office to protect Montana's land from wealthy outsiders trying to turn it into a tourist playground. His win, which happened at the start of Season 5, aligned him temporarily with his longtime rival, Thomas Rainwater, the leader of the local Native American reservation. John's predecessor, Linnell Perry, was promoted to senator. Around the same time, the U.S. president was trying to push through a project to install 2 natural gas pipelines under the state, which could have contaminated the reservation's drinking water. John's role as governor caused a bit of chaos since he refused to follow the typical government playbook and insisted on doing things his own way. He staffed his administration with his people, didn't care for bureaucracy, and generally made things difficult for those around him, all while staying laser-focused on protecting his family's land. John also managed to get his former fling, Summer Higgins, out of prison. She's an environmental activist who was serving time, but John pulled some strings to get her released and placed her under house arrest at his ranch. Of course, this set up some serious drama with Beth. The tension between Summer and Beth simmered throughout the season, coming to a head in a full-blown fight near the end. The men just let them duke it out, and weirdly enough, the 2 women walked away from the brawl with a newfound respect for one another. Beth and Rip, the show's power couple, were in their own version of marital bliss in Season 5. They tied the knot in Season 4, and in the new season, they settled into life together. Rip still doesn't know the full story about why Beth can't have children, but he does know she's unable to. They've taken in a teen runaway, Carter, as their surrogate son, even though Rip was initially against the idea. Over time, Carter grew on him and they formed a tight little family unit. Meanwhile, Casey and Monica continued to grow as a family, though they kept a healthy distance from the ranch. Casey is still working as a livestock officer, and the couple is raising their son Tate away from the family drama. Unfortunately, tragedy struck the young family again. Monica, who was pregnant, and Tate were in a car accident that resulted in Monica losing the baby. John, ever the family man, helped Monica through her grief by sharing his own experiences with loss, drawing on the pain of losing his baby brother years ago. In typical Beth fashion, she pulled off a brilliant move to block Market Equities, a powerful company trying to take over 28,000 acres of land in Montana. She orchestrated the sale of her controlling interest in the Schwartz and Meyer Fund, but only under the condition that the real estate would remain under her control. This placed the land in a conservation easement, effectively stopping Market Equities from doing anything with it. After the deal went through, Beth celebrated with a bar fight, where she got arrested for defending Rip's honor. Someone thought it was a good idea to flirt with him in front of her, which was a big mistake. Meanwhile, Jamie unknowingly got involved with Sarah Atwood, a high-powered lawyer from Market Equities who was sent to bring down the Duttons. Sarah played Jamie like a fiddle, getting close to him and convincing him that they were on the same side. The two quickly became partners in more ways than one, and by the end of the season, Sarah had become Jamie's closest ally in his quest to take down his family. Beth had been controlling Jamie for most of the season, using the fact that he killed his biological father, Garrett Randall, as leverage. This gave her the upper hand, but things took a dark turn when Jamie decided he was done being manipulated. He launched an impeachment inquiry against John, accusing him of using his office as governor to block the construction of an airport that would have benefited the state. Jamie's move set the stage for a full-blown war within the Dutton family. The drama behind the scenes. Early in 2024, John Dutton himself, Kevin Costner, finally spoke out, and it shed a whole lot of light on the behind-the-scenes chaos that had been brewing. After fans had been waiting forever for the second half of Season 5 to air, it was confirmed in May 2023 that Season 5 would be the show's swan song. But why all the delays and sudden changes? Well, as it turned out, a lot of it revolved around scheduling issues with Kevin Costner, who's now leaving the show. The real kicker? Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone, wasn't thrilled when Costner made his exit official. Sheridan didn't hold back, saying he was disappointed about how things went down. He even hinted that Costner's upcoming film project, Horizon: An American Saga, might be to blame, saying he hopes it's worth the shift in focus. But Costner couldn't leave without setting the record straight, and he had some things to say.